Hi, I'm Randy Hollenbeck, and this is the Music Roundtable. Today on the show, we have Worth Weaver from alternative hard rock band All the Pretty Things.
What's up?
I just wanted to start out by digging in a little bit of history. What got you into music? Was it like a band, a song? Did somebody buy you an instrument? How did that happen?
It's a great question, man. So whenever I was a kid, my grandfather always played like in bluegrass bands. So there was always like an acoustic guitar, kind of floating around, the family whenever I was younger. And then what really got me into music was skateboarding. I started skateboarding as like a young kid full of teenage angst, and I got really involved in that community, and I owe quite a bit to that community. But yeah, it led me to guitar, and from there it just kind of was my thing from I think the time I was 15 on. So and then I pretty much gave up skateboarding and transitioned to music full time.
When I was growing up, the skateboarding scene was more like into like punk rock and hardcore stuff like that. Is that what you went through?
Oh yeah, man, absolutely. Like my favorite bands from that era were, Pennywise, No Effects, Rancid, like all of those bands from that, SoCal kind of scene, the Fat Record scene. Who else was just massive back then that I loved? So many great bands. I mean, and even earlier stuff like Fugazi, I got really into, and but yeah, I owe so much of that like energy to skateboarding and punk rock because they were kind of synonymous in in my life at least. They just are married to each other, and then taking all of that energy and then being able to create with that instrument, you know moving towards a little bit of that angst, but I think a little tamer as I've gotten older.
Who were some of your like guitar influences that you were like really into back in the day?
Oh wow, dude. Really was a big classic rock guy coming up. My parents, my dad especially, listened to a lot of Beatles, a lot of Zeppelin, a lot of Doobie Brothers. So a lot of those greats, man, just from that era. Hendrix, Clapton, Page. The just the greats. And so a lot of my guitar playing stems from those guys. And then I got into a blues jazz phase as well. Got into SRV, got into Grant Green, just some stellar players. But I would say that would kind of be my foundation. And then as I moved, through and got into more like progressive styles of metal and heavier rock, I really got into Dimebag's playing, which I think he's one of the greats for sure. Adam Jones from Tool, and Linda Lindstrom from the band Him. Huge influence on me as well. So just I mean, dude, I could talk about that all day.
Now, it seems like everybody was in a different band, and how did you all come together to form this band? Did you guys know each other, or how did that work out?
Well, I had toured with He Is Legend for over a decade at this point in time, and I own a recording studio in the Wilmington area, and I was actually in the process of helping one of my partners at the time move some equipment into his studio, and he had recruited Tristan uh, from the local music store to come help. I had never met Tristan, and I met him during this process. We became very close friends, and we always kind of kicked around the idea of starting a band. We ended up having a lot of mutual friends in the industry and in multiple, bands that we had toured with previously. And we'd always kicked around the idea of starting a band. And then kind of fast forward through to COVID, and Tristan and I were bouncing demos back and forth off of each other. And then it got to a point where we wanted to start to talk to, uh, potential members, so we started looking for a singer. We found Logan, which I had known Logan most of my entire life. We grew up in the same town, played in different bands, never played in the same band before, but we knew each other very well. And Tristan was very close with Jeremy. So Tristan, after we brought Logan in, and we had, I think, 2 or 3 demos tracked with vocals. So we had a fill-in drummer come in and just track drums, and then we had it demoed out, and then we sent it to Jeremy, and Jeremy jumped right on board, and we've just been cruising since.
How did you come up with the band name?
I guess I guess there's a few different stories, but I always wanted to pull it from the Jimmy Eat World reference. They have a song off of their record, which was, what is that called? Why am I spacing on it right now? Chase This Light. And there's a line where Jim sings uh, some petty scenes and all the pretty things. So it just kind of resonated with me. And naming a band is the worst thing in the universe, to me at least. And so you have this list of names, and that one made the short list. But yes, we got it from a Jimmy Eat World lyric.
And what city are you based out of?
I am in Wilmington, North Carolina, along with Logan, our singer. Tristan lives in Houston, Texas, and Jeremy lives in Asheville, North Carolina, which he's going through a rough time right now because they just got hit with the 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 hurricane, and it's been really tough on this guy. So
Now, did you produce the whole record?
I did. I tracked it. I actually have a studio at my house that I built about 15 years ago, actually now, and we tracked it all here, wrote it all here, did the whole thing, man.
Now, as a producer, when do you know a song is finished?
Cool. Wow, that's a great question. For me, the reason why I love music so much is because of the emotional component that comes along with songs that are special, and my goal as a producer, as a songwriter, as a performer is to elicit that emotional response out of the listener, to pull that out of them. And whenever I am, listening back to a song that I've captured that I feel is, oh man, we're getting close. Whenever I feel that emotional pull, I'm like, I think we're good, guys. Let's move. So yeah, that's what I've always searched for, and that's what that's why I still do it. It's just the best feeling in the world.
Now, I know a lot of producers, they get caught up in the layering and stuff like that. And I've noticed that on some of your songs that I've been listening to, like you give the songs room to breathe, and it's not layered, and you just add what is needed to the song, like maybe even just like a strum of the guitar with like a effect on it and stuff.
Right, right. And I'm very like pumped that you picked up on that, because this band for me, and for Tristan as well, we wanted to bring something very accessible but also slightly off center, like slightly different. We didn't want to just cram riffs and cram, 8-part harmonies, or whatever. Like, it was really about taking a more thoughtful approach, and allowing the music to breathe. And I think a lot of that was just kind of pulling back and thinking about what the song needs. Does this song move me? And if it does, it doesn't need another jangly guitar part or another harmony. I mean, we definitely added what I considered necessary to convey the emotion in the song. And once it got there, good to go, you know.
Okay. I wanted to talk about a couple of your songs. New Teeth. Um, like when I heard this song like 3 months ago, the thing that stood out to me first was the really cool driving beat at the beginning of the song that like drives it, and then it, balances out with when the vocals come in and stuff. Can you tell me a little bit about how you guys came up with that beginning where it starts out?
I think that was originally one of my demos that I just kind of started jamming on, and I wanted something that was definitely more of an album opener, you know, first song of the set kind of energy. And so once I, you know, kind of vibed out with that tempo, I just took, I think I was working on the riff at the time and just started trying different drum patterns with it. And the dance beat won. So that's how it kicks off. And that song really for me is pretty special because I'm a big fan of I mentioned it before, that band Him, and just I've always been in love with the melancholy, and that song is definitely, you know, tipping the hat to all of that particular genre of music that I love.
The more I see myself outside your window, the more I wonder if I'm in your dreams. The less I need this night so endlessly, 'cause I know I'll never give you what you need. The time has come to leave this hell, so take the love and save yourself. It's too late for us, we're just two Draculas. And look, here comes the sun, we're coming undone in slow motion. It's too late for us, it's too late, we're just two Draculas. Two Draculas. Here comes the sun, we're coming undone.
And that song's about vampires.
Well, it's technically about two lovers unraveling, but you know, metaphorically, vampires.
Yeah, I like how you created that story. That was pretty cool.
And the whole record, I mean, it really, it kind of in my eyes, and now this is going to be different coming from Logan because his relationship to the lyrics are different. But for me, I kind of, it to me it feels like it's the journey of two lovers throughout their entire existence. You know, be it, you know, the beginning and the end. It just it kind of has a cool flow and a cool vibe whenever I think about it that way. So um, definitely about the interactions between two essences throughout the record. It's pretty cool.
And at the beginning, it kind of like got like a Romeo Juliet type of thing where he's outside her window and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, you've got those wistful initial thoughts around a budding relationship, and throughout you go through conflict, and ultimately it ends. Now, sad or happy is up to your interpretation, but
The next song I want to talk about is Teenage Lines. And I listened to the lyrics and stuff, and it feels like it's talking about signing a deal with the devil.
yeah, that I think that was definitely a very personal song for Logan. He we all had a tough COVID, and I think he especially did, and he had some anger built up just due to certain circumstances in his life, and I think that one kind of came out with all of that energy balled up and put into 3 minutes and 30 seconds. You know, you can definitely feel that tenacity and you know, just that energy coming out of him. But I think with that song, for him, it's about saying, "If you want me to be the devil, I will be." That's for what I take from it. And I think that I've heard him say that to me before. So I don't want to misquote, but I will warmly and accurately say, if you want me to be the devil, okay.
And you also added like a guitar solo in there. You know, you add things to these songs that help it out, you know, build dynamics and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, it's all about contrast and it's all about serving the song. I'm technically a guitar player who doesn't really want to be flashy. I think about and approach music from more of a compositional perspective. I mean, it's fun to play, guitar solos and have a great time, but my focus is always on what is this guitar solo doing to the listener and to the song, and how is it serving? Is it adding the contrast and the excitement, or the contrast with a dip in energy depending on the song. But I think that with with that solo specifically, this was our first single, and I think we all kind of wanted to come out of the gate swinging. So originally, the song did not have a solo, and I think it was about to go to mix, and we were like, Logan came to me and he was like, "Dude," he's like, "I am basically out of breath with this song, because if you listen to it, he is constantly just going, and he's giving it to the microphone." And so he was like, "Is there any way we can have like an interlude or a break?" And then we were like, "Well, how about a guitar solo?" So then I tried a few things out, and I think that was like the third or fourth take that I did, and it just stuck.
Before you get started, I wanna cut to the heart of it. Do they know about the heavy hands or the plans you had for me? When it all started, how you were reaching for the stars again, only pulling down the empty things that were sitting in between. I'm coming clean. See, I've been knowing the devil got faith in me, gonna give me the chair and I'll never leave. And even 100 wooden crosses wouldn't set me free. So I'm shaking hands and I'm taking vows that I'm taking it out on this little town. And even 100 wooden crosses wouldn't stop it, couldn't stop it now.
This is like a topic that I've been talking to a lot of bands lately. Have you ever experienced roadblocks or gatekeeping in the music scene?
Ooh, wow. Okay, this is also a fantastic question. Um, I will say directly, no, I have not. Indirectly, absolutely. um, I have seen it happen to friends and colleagues, and it is slightly disheartening. But at the same time, you have to, if you're in it to just get big and make money, then I think, in my opinion, you're maybe in it for the wrong reason. You know, um, and I say that my perspective is, if you believe in what you're doing and you're authentic and you put yourself out there, then they will come to you. It's just a matter of when, because the way that I think about it, in my mind, I already have achieved what I wanted to achieve, which is make a record that makes me feel something, and hopefully it makes you guys feel something. So, and if more and more people want to hear that, that's great. And if there's a certain percentage or segment of the industry that doesn't want that to happen, then, well, I'll just keep going. But I have seen it before. I really don't care to comment about details, but uh, yeah, it is a little disheartening. But I think if you continue to just own your art, be authentic, and put your head down and just do what you love, then it'll come to you.
Writing style. How do you go about writing a song? Do you like come up with a riff? Is there like song lyrics first, a drum beat? How do you what's your blueprint formula for writing?
Okay, this is a fantastic interview. This is like all the stuff I love to talk about. Yeah, man. So it really just kind of starts with a riff that either Logan, Tristan, or myself will be working on. Usually it starts on guitar. Sometimes it's a melodic theme on a keyboard. But we usually try to get the bones of the song like roughly down, record it out, just scratch tracks. And just to get the general vibe, I'll sometimes just go in and kind of program, caveman drums, just to have underneath, just to be like, hey guys, what do we think about this? So I'll come up with a verse, chorus, bridge idea, lay it down in an afternoon, and I'll send it to everyone. And the general approach is, guys, do we feel like pursuing this? And if so, what are your thoughts? And we just make it this collaborative effort. Jeremy may be like, hey man, try this Spanish style drum beat, or whatever. Let's do this riff in 5. So, we're really trying to write fearlessly and just throw it out there to each other. And then we're trusting each other's feedback and opinion. So it's very collaborative and very organic, even though we're not in the same room, because obviously we're in different locales.
Yeah, you just send it back and forth through the computer.
Yeah, I guess you would call that the modern way of writing music.
Okay. What's your plans for fall and winter?
Ooh, fall and winter. Right now, we are writing for LP2. We are almost done with a single that we're going to release, to be determined, but it's a cover song, and that's already tracked. We're just getting it to mix now. So, and then from there, I think we have a couple of things that are in the works as far as tour for 2025. Can't really talk about them yet, but it's in the works, and we're pretty pumped about it. So yeah, and then we're just going to be plugging the record, man. We've got we feel like we have a great record on our hands, and we just want to go out and share it with people and get their feedback, man.
Okay. Now you don't have no dates for any shows coming up or anything like that?
No dates at this time, but stay tuned.
Where can we get a hold of you? Facebook, Instagram?
Yeah, absolutely. We're on all of the usual outlets. Instagram is going to be All the Pretty Things Official. Facebook is All the Pretty Things. And our website is also alltheprettythingsofficial.com. So between those three, you can track us down. And we also have merch on our website if you guys are down or interested. Are going to be looking at dropping some vinyl here shortly as well. So we're pumped about that.
Okay. That's all the questions I have. Thanks for coming on the show today. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Randy, it has been a pleasure to do this interview. I really enjoyed talking to you. Your questions were fantastic, and it was just a great experience.
I'll be the mountains in your